And these people don't like white people. They don't really like black people. And black people don't like them. There's this, according to the, there's this issue I want to tell you about real fast. The New York Post received heavy backlash last week after it published a picture of the World Trade Center in flames and a response to the quote from Ilhan Omar. So Ilhan Omar is a Somalian. And believe it or not, this evil anti-America, anti-Israel woman is in our government. She's a congresswoman. And she's evil. In America, she's supposed to be a refugee from Somalia. She was living, it's been reported she was living in some camp in Somalia. America, poor America, in its emotional state, allowed Ilhan Omar to come here, taking her away from a camp in Somalia. And what does she do? She comes to America and turned on America. This woman, Ilhan Omar, gave a speech to CAIR. And CAIR is, what is CAIR real name? I forgot. But it's a Muslim organization, radical Muslim organization. And this woman gave a speech where she dismissed the terrorist attack in our country as something, she called it something some people did. She doesn't care. Something some people did. That's what she said about the World Trade Center, the attack in D.C. and other areas. Something some people did. And so there is where the New York Post put it on a magazine. And they got a backlash for doing that. The headline read, "Here's your something, 2,977 people dead by terrorism." And this woman is calling it something some people did. And she was smiling, no problem. Many people boycotted the newspaper, claiming it would incite anti-Muslim violence. So are you saying that Ilhan Omar speaking to a radical organization, Muslim organization, is not inciting violence? How come when white people respond, it's inciting violence, but when people of color incite violence, it's no big deal? Omar told her Muslim audience at the CAIR event last month to raise hell. Now, what are you thinking when a Muslim tells another Muslim to raise hell? I'm thinking Allahu Akbar. I'm thinking that these people are now going to be having belts loaded with bombs or car bombing or something. When a Muslim tell another Muslim or other Muslims to raise hell, my Amerifro want to turn into an Afro. That's amazing. One of the leaders of the outcry is the Muslim representatives from Michigan, Rashida Tlaib. She's another evil woman. She's a Palestinian. You know she's evil. This is from MSNBC. In an interview with Hallie Jackson, Rashida said Ilhan Omar's words were taken out of context.
Some people did something as a reference to 9/11. Do you think she should have rethought her words? Do you worry about the appropriateness of that?
They do this all the time to us, especially women of color. They do that. They take our words out of context because they're afraid, because we speak truth. We speak truth to power. My sister, Ilhan Omar, what she was talking about was uplifting people by supporting their civil liberties and civil rights. She has always condemned any strategy, especially of a person that's directly impacted by being a refugee herself. She sees what terrorism can do. She sees what violence can do to a whole country, to a whole people. Taking it out of context, this is just pure racist act by many of those, hateful acts by those, because she does speak truth when it talks about different issues that they don't disagree with.
Amazing. I recommend that these two women of color be taken out of our government and shipped back to wherever they came from, Somalia and Palestine, wherever this other Rashida came from. In the Quran, it says you can lie, you can pretend to be a friend, you can do whatever it takes to deceive the infidels and the Jews. Well, the Jews in their mind are infidels. The Christians and the Jews are infidels. And whatever it takes to destroy them, you can do it. In America, you are hiring these people into your government. And when she say people of color, she's against white people. And she's trying to include black people because whenever Satan's children have a hidden agenda of destruction, they got to include black people. They have nothing else to ride on, right? And they know that black people are going to go along with it because black people are not of God. They are whiners and beggars and blamers, and they cry racism. So, and when they hear these people including them, the blacks fall for it, thinking they love them. They don't. These same refugees, this woman, Rashida, and Ilhan Omar, would turn on black people when they're done with the white folks. Mark my word. Evil gets along with no one. Rashida, nothing was taken out of context. Ilhan said, referring to the Muslim blowing up the tower buildings, she called it the attacks as something some people did. That's not being blown out of. This woman need to go, folks. That's not being blown out of context or taken out of context. That's reality. And if the Muslim protest this magazine, I'm urging the president, put them on a boat and send them all back while they're down there protesting. We know where they are, and there are a group of them protesting. Send them back. It's easy to gather them up while they're in one place. Rashid then get emotional and passionate as she defends Ilhan Omar.
And the fact that these people are irresponsibly taking those words out of context and endangering the life of Rep. Omar is immoral, is wrong, and it needs to be called out by many of my colleagues, not just myself, and saying that they need to stop targeting her this way. It's absolutely putting her life in danger.
It's obviously something you feel very passionate about, and I know that there was the cover of the Post that came out that caught a lot of people's attention that showed that just very difficult image to look at from 9/11 with the headline, "Here's your something," again, in reference to the words that she used.
Thank God the Post did that. I was surprised they had the nerve to do it, but right on. And these two women need to be shipped back to, and let them go back to their countries and be tough and talk tough. And see what happens. How come they're allowed to come here and talk tough? Loudmouth. And that woman, Ilhan Omar, is smiling when she's saying this mess, this evil stuff. Also, this woman, Rashida, she's the one that said she told her son they're going to get the SOB out or something, or impeach the SOB, the MFER, MFers, or whatever she said, referring to the president. How come these people are scared in their own country, but in our country they're so brave? Why? And why am I the only one saying this? Rashida explains that Omar is the voice in Congress for the LGBTQ people, women of color, and immigrants. Not for white people, I guess. Break first? Yep. Amazing. When I come back, you notice how evil people gather all the evil people to fight against the whites. But they're really fighting against good. America, open your eyes before it's too late. Speak up. Vote these people out. Protest. You got to save your life. You got to save America, save your children. Once these people take over, you're going to have Pakistan, wherever they came from, here. You think it's bad for Europe? It is in America already. Wake up, speak up, get involved. Back in a moment. I want to just finish up with Rashida, and she's trying to deceive us about what Ilhan Omar said when Ilhan Omar called the terrorist attack during 9/11 as something some people did. And the American people know something is wrong with that. And now this evil woman, Rashida, who is a Palestinian in our government. You got a Palestinian in our government. She's trying to explain it away to deceive us. And the Quran said you can deceive the infidels, meaning Christians and Jews, to destroy them. Pretend you like them. Pretend you standing up for people of color. Meaning that when she's standing up for people of color, doesn't that say that she's standing against white people? People of color. This woman, here's where she was on MSNBC, and she, all of a sudden, she cared about the LGBTQ community. Why doesn't this woman and her little friend Omar go back to their country and fight for the LGBTQ people? Aren't they being thrown off bridges and buildings and burned and everything else? If these two women are so tough women, tough black women, tough women of color, why don't they go home and be tough? Here's where this evil woman is trying to, she explained that Omar is the voice in Congress for the LGBTQ, women of color, and immigrants. Here we go.
And you know what she does? She uplifts the LGBT community, women of color. She uplifts immigrants. She tells her stories in such a way that completely transforms how people see it. And it's been a voice that's been missing so long in the United States Congress. And I just uplift her right now in saying that she needs to continue having that courage, but we also need to join and reunite our country against those kinds of hateful, the New York Post cover and any of the attacks that I've seen over and over again of Sister Ilhan Omar.
Well, somebody need to uplift these two women and ship them back to where they came from. If I got uplifting for you. Put you back on the boat and ship you right back over to your country. And see how you two sisters uplift. Why don't you go and uplift Somalia and uplift Palestine? Why are you in my country uplifting? Oh, you're so tough over here, but you're cowards in your own country. Rashida mentioned that people are just upset that there are Muslim women and refugees. Why would you be upset in Congress? Here she go.
They've never had two Muslim women. They've never had a Palestinian American. They've never had a woman that was a refugee. I mean, these are real life, impactful stories that come with us because our lens is so different. This is not just about a Congress that looks differently, but we serve differently and we talk about these issues differently.
You say that again. You can say that again. Ilhan Omar, speaking to CAIR, said, raise hell. You're right. You're speaking differently, but we understand the language. I understand. I like Akbar when I hear it. Raise hell? How do you come in my country and I know that Muslims blow off heads, car bombing, whereabout they're willing to die to destroy the infidel, and you say raise hell? No. I ain't falling for that one. I ain't falling for that one. Yes, we're upset about it. It should not be happening in America. And if you women of color want to run government, go home and run your own government. You have no business running a Christian nation. None. And the last soundbite, Rashida then mentioned she was on MSNBC trying to defend Omar. Not America, but Omar. She's and LGBTQ folks. This lady don't care about you either. Gay people are being killed all the time in Muslim countries. I don't hear this woman over there speaking up for the LGBTQ. This woman is evil. Both of these women are evil and liars. Women of color. Rashida then mentioned that 70% of Ilhan voters were white.
But it's an institution that just is not ready for people like us, real people. We are just like any other Americans. When I talk about my immigrant mother, when I talk about my grandmother in Palestine, when I talk about living in poverty in the city of Detroit, I mean, all of those things are so important in being at that table. They've talked about us for so long. And I'll tell you, more and more people believe in what she's doing than people against it. And I wish we would uplift those people, because 70% of her community is white, and they elected her. The majority of people that elected her do not share the same faith as her. And they believed in her and made her a United States Congresswoman. And that is what we need to be talking about more.
Well, those people in Detroit who voted for this idiot in Minnesota, who voted for her in Minnesota, gonna regret it, because those white people who she last voted for, Ilhan, they're running you out of your own country, out of your own state, your own city. And if white people did vote for this woman, you get what you deserve. Don't blame God. You brought it on yourself. My biblical question: do you love all people? Do you even love your own people in this country, that you will let these people come in and take over like this? I'm just thinking out loud. Si, senor. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, share, study, ring the bell, and all that good stuff. Do we have a bell to ring?
Yeah.